Hello, I'm Marie Laveria and my channel is at Living a Simple Life. And today I wanted to continue on with my touchstones. I have 7 touchstones for the journey that I started. In video 31, I spoke about freedom and choice. And in video 32, I spoke about peace. And in this video, I am gonna try to finish all of them, all 7. I have joy, love, authenticity, and living purposefully. So I'm going to talk about what I think these things mean and how I incorporated them into my life. And it all comes out of my journey to authenticity, the book I wrote in 2021. So the first one is joy. And I'm going to define it. But before I do that, I'm going to say there's a little bit of a connection between joy and being happy, being joyful and happy. They're kind of like cousins. Being happy usually stems from, you're hearing the sound of the dog drinking his water. He's very noisy when he drinks his water. So happiness comes from an experience of our life, sort of like exteriorly. And when we're happy, it's usually our lives is going pretty well, and we have some things that in it that are making us feel good. And then when we're joyful or have joy, it's more of an inner. So I define it to be filled with the wonderful experience of satisfaction and passion for life. That to me is my definition of joy. To be filled with the wonderful experience of satisfaction and passion for life. So I had a friend that asked me a question when I was 26. I was with 2 little kids. I guess one of them was 5 and one of them was 3. And I had been married for 7 years. And my friend asked me if I was happy. And I looked at him and I thought, what kind of question is that? Do people actually think about that? That was the furthest thing from my mind of ever thinking about, was I happy? I had never thought of that. I loved being a mother, taking care of my kids, but everything else in my life was a little not very well, going very well. So after I thought about it, I answered him with the answer, I guess so, but I didn't really know. And I thought about it for several weeks, and I realized that I was happy with being a mother and taking care of my kids, but everything else in my life was not going that great. So sometimes, it's important for us to ask ourselves if we're happy, and then to incorporate joy. It's kind of like to have passion for life is joy. And I think that's a very important part of really feeling alive. So we can choose to have joy by the way we live our lives and by the way we think about things. It's kind of like the way we see the world. I think joy is a mindset, and we can choose to be joyful, and things can happen in our lives that's not that great, but if we choose to be joyful, we don't lose that. It's an inner essence of us, of it within us, within our mind and within our heart. So I invite you to explore being joyful. The next one, number 5, is love. Love is a big word, and I'm not here to tell you what love means, but I'll tell you how I incorporated love in my life. And I think the first thing that we need to do when we want to incorporate love in our life is to be able to love ourselves. We can't love anybody else or anything else if we don't love ourselves. I'm a firm believer in that. So I define love of self with having a deep acceptance of ourselves and the ability to honor who we are. I define love of self with having a deep acceptance of ourselves and the ability to honor who we are. So accept ourselves the way we are. I mean, we're not perfect, and it's okay. If we accept ourselves the way we are and we honor ourselves, that's honoring is a respect. And I find a lot of people, including myself, going through life thinking, why aren't people respecting me? Well, am I respecting myself? And when I honor myself, I respect myself. I make decisions that will be good for me. I'm careful about not hurting myself or getting hurt. I am there to honor myself so that I can be present and able to love others. So that's my definition of love. It starts with ourselves. Then authenticity is number 6 in the 7 touchstones for the journey. Authenticity is my definition: to be truly connected to self and able to tap into our true essence, our soul maybe, and what gives our lives meaning. So authenticity to me is to be truly connected to self and able to tap into our true essence, perhaps even our soul, and what gives our lives meaning. So I spoke about authenticity on other videos already, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I want to say that it's important for us to take the time to sit with ourselves and check in to see how things are going. And sometimes there are intuitive feelings that we have. We need to really be in touch with those, because I think that's where our authenticity really flourishes, is when we're in touch with our intuition. And I'll speak more about intuition on another video, but I think that's an important thing to keep in mind, that we need to nurture that intuition, the intuitive gift that we have. We all have it. And then to know what gives our lives meaning, and we talked about that before. So that causes us to be authentic and experience authenticity in our lives. Number 7, living purposefully. That's my last touchstone for the journey. And living purposefully, for me, I define it as consciously aware and living simply while allowing our creativity to flow. Consciously aware and living simply while allowing our creativity to flow. So consciously aware, that means we have to be kind of awake. And I talk about it in my book, that I was walking through life for the first maybe 30 years, kind of asleep. I was not really consciously aware of things in my life as I could have been. And I'm not saying I was a bad person because that was happening to me. I was just saying I didn't know how to do it differently. So since I figured it out a little bit, not totally, but I just say consciously aware. You can develop that by sitting with yourself, journaling, maybe a little meditation, just checking in with yourself ever so often and figure out what you're thinking, what you believe in, what's important to you. That helps you become consciously aware of yourself. And living simply, we talked a lot about that, in different ways, while allowing our creativity to flow. And I talked about creativity in other videos as well. And in the next few videos, I will actually show you some of my creativity, the way that I express my creativity with 6 different types of ways. So I'm going to stop here. These are my 7, the last of my 7 touchstones for the journey. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.